My name is Akila Robinson, Vice President of Creative Services for Warner Records, and this is the Riveting Academy. There are many steps to getting a music video awarded on the label side as well as the production side. I can speak a little bit to what we do to engage with production companies and directors. It starts with the song, obviously. We'll have internal meetings and conversations about what the song is going to be, when it's going to be released, and what the creative vision is for not only this one song, but the artist and or project. So I'll first have those conversations with our management teams, with our marketing teams to sort of figure out what is the look. Once I know that, I reach out to specific directors or directors reps or producers that I know who work with certain directors that can execute this look that I'm going for. I'll provide them with a brief, which is usually it's an email, it might be an email and a phone call to really solidify what it is we're looking for. It will contain obviously the dates that we're looking to shoot, the dates that we're looking to deliver, a copy of the track, and any description from the artist and or the label of what it is we want. So, I've mentioned before that it could be zero idea to almost a full treatment coming from the artist. So if we're on the lane of zero ideas, specific what they want to do for this artist, we'll take the conversation about, what's this artist brand? What is this song about? What is this album about? Is this the first single that's kind of kicking this off? Or is this, our second or third single that is continuing a narrative that we've already set up? So all that information, I go back and forth with different producers and directors, reps to get the right list of directors who we talk to, who then receive that brief, and then they send back, usually in about a week's time, a treatment. I'll review all these treatments and may have some notes to just tweak things here and there where it's oh, it almost hit the mark, or this is a completely different idea, but it's really cool, and if we can kind of add these little elements in, I think this is a good alternative to what we thought we were looking for. All of those creative conversations happen in various timelines. Ideally we try to have treatments back to an artist in about a week to 10 days, to really nail down, give the directors a chance to digest all that information and then bring it to a space where not only it's a really cool idea, but it's within the budget restrictions that we have, because, the bigger, the cooler, the more exciting the idea, usually the more expensive it is. So it's really up to the director and their team to understand we have this huge idea, but we might have to boil it down to the best parts of that idea and what does that look like so that we can not only, impress the client, but we can hit the budget, because that is very, very, very important. Because I think when it comes to mixing the record label and the production companies and really bringing creative to a commercial world, it's, are we investing what we're going to get out of it? Or are we making a smart investment in what we know we're going to get out of it? So it's we're selling the song, we're selling the video, maybe there's product placement, or maybe there's merch. There's a lot of different things that go into what it is we want to do with a music video these days. Now that we're in this streaming era, content is not just promotional anymore. It definitely serves that role, but we also have to be very mindful of how we are making these investments in these music videos and or other, social media content. We do tour visuals sometimes, we do anything where I usually describe it as if the artist is moving on camera, then someone in the video commissioner world has something to do with it. So we really just like to make sure that what we're doing makes sense for the overall investment in this artist. So yeah, once we get the treatments back and we decide on an idea, we go through the process of making sure the budget is on target, not only on the production side, but I have to assess the glam costs. How many looks do we have? How long is a day going to be? Is it going to be multiple days? And figuring all of that out, all of those logistics. And from there, once we're all on the same page, once we all have, the dates, the budgets, the creatives lined up, we award the job. As Vice President of Creative Services, my role is to commission music videos and video content for our artists. And in that role, as a video commissioner, we go to directors, production companies, and we seek treatments for official videos, based on what the artist may be asking for. Sometimes they have no idea, they just know where they need to shoot and when they need to shoot. Sometimes they have a complete idea that they just want to really partner, work with a director to bring it to life. So in my role, I take that idea or lack thereof, reach out to different companies based on, when we want to shoot, if we have any details on the type of style of video they're looking for, narrative versus performance, something live action versus a lot of VFX. I tend to reach out to directors that have strengths in the roles that we're looking for. And we source, I would say, relatively 5 to 7 treatments for a video, based on how specific the artist's initial feedback is. And from there, we choose the best idea, likely further tweak it with the artist, with the director to get it, just where everyone is happy. The other part of that role, the less creative part, or creative in a different way, I guess you could say, is going through the budgeting process. So, we get an idea, or I go out with a certain number and the idea comes back. Once we choose it, then, I work with the producer going through, what it's going to take to actually bring that idea to life. Sometimes we hit the target exactly, sometimes we're a little above, and we have to then get creative to figure out, via product placements, via, a different approach to how we shoot it, via, maybe giving some more time in post to allow us to, maybe cut some negotiation deals there. And, it's really just about getting it to a place where we as a label are at a place they're comfortable spend, and the production company is confident that they can execute the idea with said budget. In the process of making a music video, we have the record label and the production company. On the side of the record label, our job is to get the artists to the shoot. If that requires travel, or just coordinating with their management team what day the shoot is, what time is, those nitty-gritty details. We also coordinate with the glam team, so we hire the stylist, makeup artist, nails if necessary, all those little things to bring the team on the artist side together. The production company brings the crew, the post, they find the location, they hire any cast that may be needed for the creative, and together we kind of bring this music video to fruition. So as a commissioner, the easiest way to explain it sometimes to somebody who's really not in this world is I say I'm the executive producer on the label side. So I have to oversee the budget as well as the executive producer on the production side is doing that and kind of keeping me up to date with, hey, we're a little over, or this is coming a little under, or, we need this here and there. And I have to do either, addressing the budgetary issues or addressing the logistic issues if it's on the side of the artist in terms of timing, or, reviewing cuts and getting notes back on time to keep our post schedule in order. So that's the easiest way to explain it, is the label's executive producer to bring this production, get the green light and then bring it all the way through execution. Even more important than presenting your idea is building a relationship with the people that you would present these ideas to. I've had directors reach out to me on Instagram, I've had cold calls, I've had, cold call emails, and I appreciate it all because there's no way I can know every director that is active, in the video production world. There's a fine line between persistence and sort of too much, just say it nicely. But I always tell people, check in with me, but check in with intention. If you just shot something or something just came out, or if you've updated your reel, because that's always going to be my first question is oh, what are you up to? Or what have you been working on? Or, tell me. Or if it's the first intro, it's oh, I'd love to see your work. Definitely show it. Don't hold it back. definitely lead with your work. Lead with, this is what I want to do. Lead with, this is, I saw you do this, or I saw you tagged in that. Instagram has kind of been opened the floodgates for that in a good way, where, maybe an artist or a manager or even Warner will tag me in something, or I'm in the comments and then somebody hits me up and it's like, oh, hey, and then it's like, oh, wow, you're really cool. I would have never discovered you otherwise. Take a meeting and say hi. And, it doesn't have to be a meeting with pressure of like, what is the next video you're working on? Because just to be honest, like, we never really know what's coming next. We have an idea, but, especially if it's a first meeting, I can't like pitch you what exactly is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but I would love to build a relationship. I would love you to keep me posted on what you're doing, even if it's not a music video, if you're working on commercials, if you did a short, like, always keep us, just keep us abreast of what you're working on and what your work looks like, because that's going to be the first lead into why we want to, send you some music. One of the most effective ways that I've built relationships with new directors have really been cold calls. Like, they'll send me something if I see something that I like, or if there's a follow-up, because I can't speak for all commissioners, but I can probably wake up to 50 emails a day. So if it's something that I'm not expecting, it may fall through the cracks. But I do appreciate somebody, following up without being like too pushy. Hit me up on a Monday if you haven't heard back. Wednesday, Thursday is cool to say, hey, just wanted to, say hi again, and so make sure you saw this, something like that. But it's definitely been someone who has their work, easily accessible, and the website looks great. That's an instant for me. And it's like, oh wow, this person is like professional, like they know what they're doing. Or even if their Instagram, if they send me their Instagram page and it's really curated and their work looks really great, and it's a really quick way for me to see, is this even something that is right for me? I mentioned that I focus more on like the hip hop and R&B world. And if you do have like a lot of rock or pop or something that's not that on your reel, explain that this is what I really love to do. Directors all the time kind of fall into a wave because, work is work. But if you love rap, but you've been doing rock, it's cool. Just say that, and then it lets me know that you're not just like cold calling a bunch of people and this is just a random hit because you saw that, I work wherever I work. So it's great to just feel like the initial reach out was on purpose, personal, and, has a great representation of who you are and what type of work that you do. I know it can be scary to reach out or, cold call somebody, but as a new director, you should always know that the worst thing that could happen is that somebody doesn't have a project for you right now. But the best thing that could happen is you've hit them right when they're stuck looking for someone new. Because the idea now that content is everywhere and everything we do is content, well, I'll say we, but as an artist, everything they do is content essentially. So I can't send the same director, the same team to the same artist all the time. So if I have somebody who hits me up and has some really cool work and it's just one click away, it feels like it puts me in a position to be able to discover new young talent because it's everywhere. I know people who have been shooting since they were 12 years old. I can't put a 12-year-old in charge of a music video, but if they've gone to school and they've got this body of work and it's like you can see that progression, it's really important to just trust yourself and trust the work that you've done and reach out when you feel like you're at a point where you have something to present. It's not about who you've worked with or who you are or who you're signed to, because all that comes in time. I've met directors that were just kind of with an artist and with a team, with a band, and they had done some of their behind the scenes, but they tapped me on the side and were like, hey, I also want to direct, I also want to do, some bigger things. Do you think it'd be possible? Can I offer them a job right then and there? Likely not, but if we can stay in touch and something comes up and it starts with like, hey, I've got this little like run and gun project that another artist is trying to do, would you be interested in starting there? And if you do that and if you kill that, then I'm all the more inclined to say, hey, I've got this $20,000 job. Then, a little later, hey, I've got this $50,000 job. And, it all has to start somewhere. You should never feel like you're not ready if you know you've done the work to prepare yourself. So if you know you've got the reel, if you know you, even if it's you and your friends, but your friend's a great producer, you're a great DP director, your other friend's a great editor, and if you can present that to, you present a body of work that you all have been working on, then you're ready and you have what you need to at least reach out and at least start the conversation and at least have someone like me look at your stuff and say, oh wow, they're not here yet, but they're at a point where it's like, oh, I've got this artist that this would be a great connection. This would be great. Two young creatives who need to be in that who need to share that energy and get those things done. So I feel as long as you have put in the work and put in the time to have, a portfolio, even if it's 5 videos that you did on your own, run and gun, trying to make it work. If they look good and if you're confident in them, start presenting it to people and start reaching out and start trying to build that network and build those relationships with commissioners, with producers, reach out to director reps. They're always looking for new talent, and then it's their job to present you to people like me. But I just feel like once you feel confident in your body of work, you should start reaching out and presenting that to people.